hairs. The next thing I want to talk about is hair cycling, how the hair grows during a growth cycle. As we talked about in summary, the lower portion of the hair follicle is a non-permanent area where there's going to be a cycling component. So what are the cycles? There's three major components of the hair cycle. There's anagen, there's catagen, and there's telogen. And anagen phase is the time when the hair is growing rapidly. In fact, it's one of the most rapidly growing areas of the body. If you think about people that have chemotherapy, they lose all their hair because they get what's called an anagen effluvium, where the hairs are broken due to the impact of the drugs. So the anagen is a very, very highly growth phase due to the matrix cells in the bulb area that's growing the hairs out. So the anagen phase also, just briefly, can be subdivided into 6 stages. Some people put a 7th stage on there, where essentially the first couple stages, after the hair has already been shed, the dermal papilla is starting to elongate again, and then it starts to descend in 3 through 4, and then 5 through 6 is the hair shaft is emerging. And so anagen is that growth phase. And let's break down how long these cycles last. The anagen is, in most people, it lasts about between 2 to 4 years, so it's a long time of growth. The catagen phase, where the hair is beginning to retract and being prepared for expulsion, lasts a shorter time, between about 2 to 4 weeks. And then for the telogen phase, where the hair is undergoing expulsion, that phase is lasting about 2 to 4 months. We usually say about 3 months. So if you break down the percentages, generally speaking, in most people, about 90%, 1%, and like 9 or 10% in terms of 90% anagen, 1% in catagen phase, and then, you know, whatever the remainder, 9% or so, 10% in telogen. But that can be changed with telogen effluvium, with androgenic alopecia or male pattern baldness. There can be shifts. For example, in male pattern baldness, you could have an 80% anagen phase and 20% telogen due to a shortening of the anagen phase. So those are the sort of the hair cycles. The hair cycles are also asynchronous, so not all the anagens are growing at one time, all the telogens. Otherwise, you can have all this massive hair shedding, which can occur obviously in telogen effluvium or other conditions that are presented in other videos and other parts of this website. The next, after the anagen growth phase, the catagen phase is during the time where you see the hair shaft beginning ready for expulsion. It begins to, in the non-permanent portion, begins to retract upward from the dermal papilla and starts to create this club-like hair that is with loss of color to the hair, ready for expulsion. And then in telogen phase, that hair is actually expelled, and when the hair is actually gone, it's known as an exigent phase. So those are sort of some ideas about how hair is cycling through in our hair. The reason that's important is that when we start discussing some of the clinical conditions of hair shedding and telogen effluvium and anagen effluvium and all those things that have pertinence to the hair cycle, we have to principally understand what the hair cycle is all about. So hopefully that short video on hair embryology, hair anatomy, and hair physiology in terms of hair cycling was helpful for you, just to get a basic understanding of the basic science of all these components.